Hello, Fear Me Cat here. Welcome to another episode of Let's Play as a teenage Exocolonist. I admit, as much as I'm enjoying this, I am looking forward to this series finally being done. I've chosen another Let's Play that I want to do, and I want to do that Let's Play. Unsurprisingly, well, I might as well do this. Gives me something to do. Wet starts every practice talking about how everyone on the sports team super gets some shifts of the gas and next door he calls it cross training. It's kind of uncomfortable, really. Okay. I suppose I'm close to friends with an enemy now. That's good. You know what? Let's go and relax on the walls. You're chilling on the wall when you hear sounds of an argument float. Oh, I've already. Yes. No, I like that. I like that that's press 1 to the card. So it is really tempting to not go back out there again, but I'm not sure there's really a lot of stuff for me to do in the colony that's going to be helpful to me. But more persuasion will actually be useful. So I might as well go for that. Why not? This month you're supposed to learn about different styles of dance. Mars takes this fairly easily, but Tang objectively refuses to, saying she'd rather be penalised for non-cooperation than make a fool of herself. She sits the whole month out, being independent study on the philosophy of medicine. No matter how much Mars cajoles, bribes, or begs Tang to dance for her, she just doesn't budge. Fair enough. I think that Tang just has to be herself. Tang, Spot Tang sitting in Lars Bulldog's other lap. Suzuki pressed through, bell wrestling with determination, alternating bites with huge gulps of water to wash it down as quickly as possible. What are you doing out here? She stops a grim word long enough to acknowledge the question. I hit the limit on the number of consecutive hours that allow me to work in the bag. But wrap the lamps, she says. Some take your breaks, she says, mocking air quotes around the sentence. How dare they? That's what I said, Tang replies. They just think they can boss me around because I'm younger. I'm smarter than any of them combined. Ugh. Tang groans and rubs her bloodshot eyes. I just want to work, you know. It's so frustrating to be deep in the zone and feel like I'm just on the precipice of a discovery, and then someone tells me that apparently my genius is taking too long. I want them to treat me like I belong there, the way Dr. Instance does. Tang matters. She actually respects me. They're just jealous that she likes me more. Tang slides off the board and you see the colour bleed from her face as he stumbles into you, nearly crumpling to the ground. Oh, she grits out, leaning over while the dizziness passes. I thought the nutritional uptake of that bar would be quicker than a real meal, especially if taking into account the time required towards the cafeteria. She trails off, realising she's clutching your jacket and pushes you away. My apologies, she says, brush herself off. I am, regrettably, it seems, only human. Tang rubs her hands over her face. Ugh, sometimes it feels like I'm a prisoner in my own body, like I can feel myself trapped in it, the stinking, sweating bag of meat and bad impulses stuck with the burden of keeping it alive every day for the rest of my life. And her voice breaks. Tang, wait, are you crying? Tang scowls and wipes her eyes angrily. Reflexive lacrimation is an evolutionary response to emotional and physical stress, he snaps. In other words, no, I'm not crying. It's just this resentment for my physical form. It reminds me of when I was little. And instance used to Gentech to give me this body, the right body. Only this body's wrong too, says quietly. It's right in a lot of ways, but still imperfect, it's still human. If I were an AI, everything would be more simple. I could just do my work, I could just do what I'm good at. No messy biological functions, no emotions, just clear and beautiful purpose. I hate this, Tang sniffles. I hate feeling like this. I was here to listen, Tang. Tanzant manages a watery smile. She likes her eyes. Thanks, he says, apologising for being all wet on you. Won't happen again. She wipes her eyes and straightens her jacket, then takes a deep breath and holds it for 10 seconds. Her eyes close. By the time she opens them again, she looks ready to go back to work as if nothing's happened. You admire Tanzant's determination, but sometimes you think it might come at a price. I would say it definitely comes at a price, yep. You know what? Honestly, there's not really a lot to do on the colony. I am gonna go out one last time. I don't think there'll be anything new here, and I might skip some stuff, but this might be worth doing. And there was actually no way to get through because of radiation. Fine then. Oh, I'm gonna get radiation sickness. Okay. Well, that's annoying. Some materializes out of forest before you. Slani says gravely, forgive my directness, but you must come with me now. He places his hand on your shoulder. Please trust me, Wilson. I've done my best to argue on behalf of your kind. I hope only for the continuing survival of society. Of humanity. Ominous. He crouches to slide into a hidden opening under the roots of a tree. You fall, feeling strange as if you crawled into the belly of some animal. You emerge into a cave filled with a hammer of strange machinery. A bank of ancient-looking control panels, a crystal tank of glowing liquid seem almost to have grown out of the natural rock. Mineral deposits from the moisture trickling down the walls have reclaimed something. Some leads to a console. This is the way, he says, pressing what seems to be buttons. As I've explained, this body I wear is a vessel. My consciousness, the person who I am, is stored in the array. I return to it regularly, storing my body in the regenerative tank where I pick up what I've learned that day into the array. Physical forms are prone to injury and death, Sim says quietly. It's temporary but highly unpleasant, therefore the overseer prefers to remain in the array. Sim directs you through weirdly fungal growths. Please take hold of these interface handles. Of course, you touch the handles and say, I don't know how to feel about this. Nothing to be afraid of, just let your mind-matter interface. A strange presence speaks in your head. You can feel the overseer pause, and a sensation in your mind reminds you of someone clearing their throat. I'm the overseer, the voice continues. I speak for the gardeners. We will show you what we are. I'm ready. You have the oddest feeling of memories being inserted into your mind. First a trickle, then a flood. A civilization called the Convergent Domain once existed on this planet over 20,000 years ago. In your mind you see their dominion stretch from pole to pole, their farms and solar arrays glittering on the surface as their massive cities tunneled below. Already know about the domain. We are aware of that, the overseer replies, his voice drying in your mind. We know most everything that happens on this planet. The Convergence Domain created the gardeners as their ecological control system. A vast network of artificial intelligence is stored deep underground in a digital array. Self-propagating control towers and cloning stations were seeded, allowing a gardener program to take biological form, downloading a copy of its consciousness into a host body created to suit the task at hand. You think of Sim, his body created to suit the task of befriending you? Under the direction of the Convergent Domain, the gardeners control the weather, the acidity of the soil, the cultivated species in their farms, and the rapidly shrinking wild areas of the planet. The overseer doesn't quite sigh, but you get the impression it would. Over time, the Dominion nearly destroyed this planet. There are too many of them? Correct, the overseer responds. They could not stop multiplying with a pride and compulsion that could only come from evolutionary drive. Yeah, like humans basically. They pay the planet's surface with solar panels to run their massive underground cities. There are millions of them, then billions, then tens of billions, too many for the planet to sustain. The last directive the gardeners were given by the domain was to repair the planet's destroyed ecosystem. The overseer says solemnly, the gardeners tried, but it was too late. When the crops failed and the atmosphere became too thick for sunlight to pierce, the Convergent Domain perished by the billions. The last survivors took to the sky in colony ships and never returned. Huh. You try to imagine tragedy on the scale, but it's just too enormous, too abstract to wrap your head around. The overseer continues restlessly, new thoughts floating into your mind. Over the millennia, the gardeners took their task seriously. It takes little effort to render a planet inhospitable, but significant dedication to restore it. Under the guidance of the gardeners and the final directive of the Convergent Domain, nature at last reclaimed the barren planet. The garden existed in perfect balance, and now your species have invaded it. We had nowhere else to go. Your kind had the option to stay where they were, the overseer replied, the tone of its thoughts darkening. Do you think we have empathy for the Convergent Domain who fled on colony ships, the ones who selflessly refused to give their bodies back to the planet they destroyed with their pride? You chose to come here, the overseer continues, and you continue to stay here. You could instead choose to die. You shudder involuntarily. Some of the autonomous species have a technique of future sight which the gardeners harness to catch glimpses into the web of timelines. We see that you possess this technique too, alone in your kind. We have foreseen that humans pose a great danger to this planet. You are a monoculture, an invasive species. You've fought a hard-won balance in disarray. Since arriving, you've shown nothing but a willingness to consume the planet's resources and replace them with more humans. We didn't even know you were there. You tell the overseer your parents didn't know. They told you long-range scans that the planet was unpopulated. You get the impression the overseer is scoffing at you. Is this an argument in your favour? That you would feel guiltless in destroying the autonomous natural habitat if there are no sentient species to claim ownership of it? The gardeners do not own the planet, the overseer tells you. We are the planet. Most gardeners would prefer to stamp you humans out like encroaching weeds, the overseer says without malice. Indeed, we have tried using ecologically compliant organic methods. We are impressed at your tenacity to withstand these eradication procedures. The yearly attacks, the famine, the pollen. not random occurrences at all, but gardener tactics to encourage the eradicated pest. But Symbiosis speaks in defence of your kind, the overseer continued, and took effort to convince us that you were sentient and capable of communication. You present us with a quandary. You come from the stars, refugees of a catastrophe of their own design, one that you were intent to recreate here on a planet which still bears the scars of the last time it was used carelessly. So we ask, what are we to do with you? Well, I don't think that I'm going to be able to persuade the colonists, having kept all of this a secret, that we should now leave or give up and let ourselves die. So I think that's out of... I don't think that's a good option. I don't like options 1 or 2 here either. I'm gonna go with this. Humans can change, help us. So we teach your kind to be stewards of nature, the overseer replies. Perhaps your children take up the mantle as well in their children. But soon you are dead, as are your children's children. Generations pass. No one alive remembers this time the gardeners came to humans and taught them the proper way to live. And now there are too many of you to cheat in your behaviour, too entrenched. What then? Genocide? You have no answer. There is silence in your head, and you only hear the sound of water trickling down the cables and the gentle hum of the machines. Eventually, the overseer speaks in your mind one last time. For now, you may leave freely. We will consider this quandary, and we'll be monitoring you and the other humans. You feel a strange pull at your consciousness as you remove your hands from the interface. There you have it, Sim murmurs. That is my boss. I'm terrified. Sim nods sadly. That is the correct response. It's why I wanted you to know the truth. He walks over and runs his hands over the consoles, and now you know how to connect the array, he says quietly. But you should not come here unless I'm with you. Sim takes her hands and looks at you solemnly. When you interface with the array, you hold everything we are in your hands. It takes a great deal of negotiating to convince my fellow gardeners to trust you with this power. Please do not prove this trust mistaken. Okay, I think it's... Well, I'm going to naturally go home anyway in a minute. So... We'll just get too tired. Yeah, let's increase our stresses. Not only exploring, but that was very helpful. Actually, I'm glad I did that. This is also relaxed on the walls. He greets you progressing. Hey Solana, if you could push the button, it would kill everyone on Earth, but the colony would survive forever. Would you do it? What if it was the opposition and you could push the button and we'd all die, but it would fix all the problems for everyone on Earth? You barely know how to answer. The question plagues you for a whole month. Yeah, let's get rid of that one. It is a good question. You have a bit of trouble this month. There's so much Earth history to cover. Every time you think you come up with a nice now slip of time to do a presentation about, you discover a whole group of people who are off doing something else completely different. How are you supposed to summarize even a little bit of Earth history? Everything happens so much all the time. You won't be if kids are going to be studying this colony. At least only have 100 people to keep track of. This year Governor Lum's ascension to the Autumnal stage is heralded by an entire military band, their instruments shiny and nano-printed new. They march out of command information, splitting and forming a phalanx at the foot of the stage as Lum takes place before you. Spotlights turn on with heavy chunk noises, illuminating Lum in the halo of floating dust particles. He spreads his arms wide. Hello, Vertumna. His voice booms over the speakers. Are we winning or what? No. No, you're not. You keep doing this, the Overseer is going to decide, just going to choose genocide, basically. The reaction is mixed. You look around, it's easy to see the ones cheering loudest are the Helios and people who fully adapted their mentality like an enemy. The Stratos and more reserved, some even silent. Security Chief Red is one of them. His users don't express and hide his true feelings. Regardless, there's enough cheering that Lum has to wait for it to die down before it continues. We're killing it out there, people, he exclaims. Every day we call a little more territory from the savage aliens of this planet. Not as much as you think you do. A Watato pod arcs through the air and lands with a broken splot at Lum's feet, splattering him with juice. You don't see through it, but the faction from Geoponics is looking restless. They begin to jeer and stomp their feet. Lum continues on, raises fists. These Xenos attacked us first, and they're learning. Don't mess with humankind. The crowd is now evenly split between cheering and booing. The Stratos are agitated, and you hear calls for things to return to how they were, and how Lum and his soldiers are killing the planet. Even Council, lined up before the stage and facing the crowd, looks conflicted. We left Earth to get away from this shit. Your dad shouts, and you turn to him in surprise. He waves swears. Now look at us. We're right back where we started, fighting each other and the planet. We brought it with us. Yep, that is the risk. Utopia hops on stage. Routes her own here speak through the speakers. He's lying, she yells bitterly. This year we lost 2 surveyors in the swamps, Sorrel and Quinton. They'd be alive today if Lum hadn't sent him out to clear out a manticore den for no good reason. She jams her finger against the governor's chest. The only threat to a colony here is you. Lum's smile doesn't change, but his eyes go cold. He snatches Utopia's hand and calmly, slowly crosses her hollow palm crystal with his thumb. You hear the crunch the bones of her hand before her feed cuts out. Utopia yelps as her knees buckle with pain, her bravado gone. She holds her broken hand to her chest, is too shocked to resist when Lum shoves her off stage. The crowd is stunned into silence as well. Lum clears his throat and approaches the end of the stage, leaning tall over the council. Thank you for your input, he says icily. Your concerns have been noted. This isn't the buffoon Lum presents on his daily hollow vlogs, or the nuisance he has when he visits a work site. You see something in his eyes you've only caught glimmers of before, hatred. You Stratos are lucky we didn't crush you under our boots and then take your colony by force, he sneers. Before we got here, this colony was doomed. You're only alive because I was merciful. Just a bunch of burnt-out hippie fugitives. What was your plan for surviving out here? Wishful thinking, singing songs and talking to animals. Laughter ripples through the Helios. You, he gestures the council, then jerks his thumb at his chest, need us. Not the other way round. I'm done pretending I need an answer to your opinions. If you want to live, you'll do what I say. He stares at Dr. Instance, who glances at him with hate in her eyes as he tends to Utopia's hand. Maybe it's time to clean house, ye friends. We need team players here, ones who share one vision for the future of Autumna. After a few tense moments, Sequi clears their throat. Ahem, sir, shall I continue with the traditional formalities now? Scowls down Sequi, then throws his hands in the air. Whatever, do it, if it makes you feel better. You're all cowards. He turns and stalks off the stage, his marching band scrambling to forward with his exit song. As promised, there are no contests this year, but there's plenty of food and alcohol. As the sun begins to set, the Helios, including Vice and Enemy, head straight forward and look ready to party into the night. The other teams seem a little less at ease. Dees, quite predictably, has already left. Yep, I'm beginning to think that Dees had the right idea, honestly. You don't find Dees in the walls, or in the robotics lab, or any of his usual hiding place. Not even Congruence can get a read on his location. You might have an idea where he could be, though. You creep up on Sim and Dees meeting secret outside the colonies. Trust me, Dees, I'm not concerned, Sim says, his hand resting on Dees' shoulders, entreatingly. The planet is in no days of being subjugated by humans. They don't get it, Dees exclaims. They're really serious. They're going to use bombs. You've never seen bombs, right? Explosions? What if they cut down every tree, or poison the rivers, or... Sim smiles patronizingly. I forget sometimes that you're so human, he says, and Dees scowls. You are stuck in time and may able to see beyond the next 100 years. Even if your species managed to wipe out all life from this continent, we will simply bring it back again. It might take 20,000 years, but this planet will outlive you. Dees knocks Sim's hands away and wipes his eyes. Why are you always so calm, he spits out. Other gardeners aren't like this. Other gardeners know that humans are dangerous. Dees, Sim sighs, closing the distance between them and folding Dees into a gentle hug like one would approach a biting animal. I'm not like other gardeners, not anymore. Just like you're not like your humans. Dees sniffles and bows his head in sympathetic clothing. I wish you'd let me help, he murmurs, almost too quiet for you to hear. Yeah, sorry about this, but you're so snap-bounce as you move through the dry underbrush, and Dees leaps from with a guilty expression. They both relax when they see it's you. Dees scrubs his red face. Hey, Solana, he stammers, I guess I should go back now, huh? You and Dees sneak back into Cornea as the sun sets, dodging Vase and his revelling friends. They somehow wrangled themselves a live triplet and are in the process of skewing it to roast over a big bonfire. You can hear its dying squeals from here, and surely after that smell the sweet charred scent of it roasting over the flames. Dees curls his lip. I hate this place, he mutters. Sometimes I say everyone would just hurry up and die. The week after Terminalia is one of the hottest since he landed. He was supposed to take time off from massively break, but it's just so humid and awful and temperatures are short. Shortly after the festival, you start seeing graffiti cropping up everywhere. It seems that a lively, if not particularly civil, conversation between the two factions is being held on the flat surfaces of the colony. Lum announces a zero-tolerance policy for political graffiti, but you notice that not every tag is being removed, just the ones against war, of course. The atmosphere of the colony is oppressive, as thick as the choking dust heat itself. Everywhere you try to relax, people just want to talk about the war. To make matters worse, the sweltering nights are making your nightmares intense again. You return to work feeling more stressed than before. And that episode has been going on for long enough. I will see you next time.